Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. I just did a review video, and I am leaving Popeye's restaurant right now, where I did said review. And I thought I would drive around for a second and do a book vlog, because I have read so many books that I haven't talked about all of them this month. And I was gonna just wait until my wrap-up video, and then I thought, well, why don't I do it today a little bit? So let's talk about the books that I have read recently. Okay. So I think since the last time that it was on here, I read Stephanie Perkins' The Woods Are Always Watching. The Whisper Man by Alex North. The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, and The Shadows by Alex North, which are his two books, the only two books that he has out that I have read of his. Okay, so I have lots to say, always, but I have lots to say about these books. First of all, let me just tell you that I am reading my 89th book for the year right now, and I am currently reading Unspeakable Things by Jess somebody. And this book has gotten like so many really great reviews as being like a scary book. But when I went to her author's like page on Goodreads, she has a cozy mystery series out that has like 15 books on it. And I'm like, oh, I'm trying this cozy mystery series out if I like this book. So anyway, if you didn't know, another little thing I've talked about on my vlog, but I haven't talked about it on here, I don't think, is that for the entire month of November, other than the book for Peter's Book Club, which is Liane Moriarty's Apples May Fall, and other than the True Crime Book Club, which is called Glitter in the Dark Room, other than those two books, I am doing an entire month of all cozies. I'm reading all cozies. I know it's not a surprise to anybody. I was telling Mel the other day, Mel, my book, the True Crime Book Club partner, hey Mel, how you doing? So I was talking to Mel the other day, and I felt like I was talking to her while she was filing her nails. Like I felt like she was that emoji, you know what I mean? Because I said to her, I said, oh, I'm going to do an entire month of cozies in November. And I was so excited about it. Have you ever been excited about something? You're almost like a kid, you know? I was so excited. And she goes, shocking. I was like, Mel! And she goes, well, it wouldn't surprise me. But I said, I might do November and December, all cozies. And she goes, I don't think anybody will be surprised. I said, Mel! So anyway, I may just do cozies for the rest of the year. I love them. You know what's so funny is, I never used to be into like reading series back in the day. I always just loved standalones, and I'm so obsessed with these series now. I have like, well, I have a video coming where I'm gonna talk about my updated cozies list and then my plan for cozies in November. So that video's coming. But anyway, so let's talk about The Whisper Man first by Alex North. I had read about it on a list. I looked up some list of like scariest books to read or blah, 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 whatever. And it showed up as one of the scariest books to read. So I downloaded it and I listened to it. And it's fantastic. It's an English book about, actually Alex North, the author, is a pseudonym, I found out, because I wanted to look up his other work. And he has written underneath another name. And he has 11 books out. What's going on here? This is like some major detour or something. He has 11 books out by his other name. Can I not go through here? This is the weirdest detour in the entire world. But anyway, it's like through an office building section, parking lot. He has 11 books out by another name. I don't know how good they are. I might try one because I really, 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 really like his writing. So The Whisper Man is about this dad whose wife has died of cancer, and he and his 8-year-old son moved to this small town, Feather something, and it's supposed to be like this very sweet, idyllic town. Except for that, 25 years ago, there was this abduction and murder of this young kid. And there's just recently been another, oh, that girl, she's got a skeleton in the front seat of her car. There's been another abduction and murder. And so he moves to town, and then like he and this kid get like mixed up in the middle of all this whole thing. And then there's like this female detective, and her name is Amanda Beck, and I really like her as a character. And she's in the second one too. So he's like writing, not a series, but basically like using her like for all these mystery books. So anyway, that mystery, fantastic. It was so good, The Whisper Man. But then I just finished last night, and you guys, this book was so good I didn't want to finish it, and it was called The Shadows by Alex North, and you guys, it was unbelievable. It was terrifying. There were parts of it that felt like Silence of the Lambs to me by Thomas Harris, and I was telling my friend Tanya that it very much felt like, to me, Silence of the Lambs meets Paula Hawkins, like in Girl on the Train. Not the new Paula Hawkins book that I couldn't stand, but remind me not to go back this way. This is a mess of trouble. Anyway, The Shadows is about this guy that, thank you for going along that roller coaster ride with me. It's about this guy who, his mother has dementia and she's dying, I think, of cancer, and so she's in like hospice care, and so she's just gone into hospice, and so he has to return home, and he hasn't been home in like 25 years because of this incident that happened with him and 3 other boys when he left the town, and it takes place in the same town as the other one did. And so I'm wondering if I turn this way, if it'll put me completely in the dark, or I guess I'll just keep on going this way for a little bit. So anyway, he goes back to town, and then all this stuff starts happening. So there was this thing that happened with these like 4 guys that were friends in high school when he was in high school. He's now like my age, and he's returning home to take care of his mom, and there's another incident that has happened that's almost identical to the one that happened 25 years ago. So it's bringing up all this stuff from the past. He's trying to solve the mystery. His mom, who has dementia, she knows something about it, and he can't figure out what. And you guys, it is so, just trust me, it is so good. And what you think is the truth, you find out about halfway through the book is not the truth, and that's all I'm gonna say. I was so thrown out with this book. Now, I will say the ending was a little slow, but here's the other thing about it. It wasn't just a great mystery thriller, like it was very endearing too. It like talked about his first love, and it talked about his relationship with his mom and his dad, and it was really heartfelt. I mean, Alex North is a fantastic author. I think I need to turn around the other way and go into the light the other way. Go into the light, Carol Ann. So, Alex North, if you're gonna start one, I would definitely start with The Whisper Man. Just because it will give you kind of background to that town. And then I would go read The Shadows. This guy is like standing out here looking like he's waiting for somebody, and I'm going, he probably thinks I'm his Uber or something. I'm not your Uber, dude. I'm not your Uber! But wouldn't it be funny if I was? Sometimes I like to think I'm like that taxi cab confessions guy. Anyway, okay. So then, that was that. Okay, let's talk about The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. Ugh! Gag-a-maggot. That book was so bad, you guys. That was one of the worst reads I think I have ever read in my entire life. It was so bad. So bad. This lighting's even worse, isn't it? It doesn't matter. You guys don't care. Okay, so I had read There Is Someone in Your House or whatever, Inside Your House, that Stephanie Perkins book that they made into a movie on Netflix. I read that like a year ago. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought she did a really nice job writing her first young adult horror novel, and I thought it was really well done. My husband and I, we just watched the movie not too long ago on Netflix, and we thought it was, I think it was last weekend, and we thought it was pretty good. I thought the movie was a lot different than the book, but I didn't care about that. I thought the movie was well done. I thought the book was well done. So I was very excited about reading her second young adult horror novel, okay? When she came out and did it, there wasn't a lot of like young adult horror novels, except for like Lois Duncan from way back in the day that did like, I'm gonna have to turn around and go into the light or something. Who did like, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and what was Killing Mr. Griffin, and all those books they turned into movies in the 90s. And then Christopher Pike, you know, and then what's the other guy that wrote all those Goosebumps books? R.L. Stine. You know, other than them, there really haven't been that many young adult horror novels that have been, or scary novels that have been done really well. Now, there's more. Okay, so The Woods Is Always Watching is about these two girls, and it's their last week before they go off to college, and then, hold on a second, and then they're never going to see each other again, you know, and they're going to go their separate ways, and, you know, it's the story of the one girl who, like, I got to go this way because the lighting is so bad. It's the story of the one girl who, you know, like, she's always had it lucky, and her parents are still married, and they've been married forever, and they love each other, and they have the perfect relationship, and she got into the greatest college in the world, and blah, 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 whatever. And the other girl, like, her dad died, and she doesn't have any money, and she has to keep on working at Kmart, and she can't go to the college ever. It's just one of those books, you know? I just feel like that whole trope of rich, perfect friend, poor, sad friend life, like, I think that trope is so boring. I hate that trope. And I always just think it sets up for this, like, let's feel sorry for this one girl. Oh, and then she always has to be super tough too, right? Like, we have to make her super tough because, you know, she's had all these trials and tribulations in life, which I think that would be tough, right? Like, I think it would be really difficult. But in this book, Stephanie Perkins plays against that trope, and she makes her weaker than the other girl, which was kind of interesting. It's like, I don't know. But then, like, they bonded because they stopped being friends with, like, their, like, growing up friends who then, like, one got popular and the other one got into... It's that story. That was my story. That happened to me. I get it, right? But, like, that's what they bonded over, and they hate everybody, and they work at Kmart, and they hate working at Kmart. Are there even Kmarts around anymore? I didn't even know there was. But anyway, so... because they've never been into, like, drinking, smoking weed, and having sex, is what they say, they decide that for fun, for their last week, that they're going to go camping. I'm like, what? No, that wouldn't be my last week before I go off to college. So, I'm maybe glamping for one night in a hotel room with a tent set up inside. By the way, did you guys see that Hallmark Channel has teamed up with Wyndham Resorts, or Wyndham something, the Wyndham Club, and there are 3 cities, New York, Nashville, and I think it's Aspen, that you can go there, and they have these suites that are completely decked out for Christmas, by the Hallmark Channel and Wyndham. Isn't that so cool? I want to go stay in one. Anyway, you can start booking them November 1st. No, this isn't sponsored, but it should be. They should let me go stay in one of those hotel rooms for free because I love Christmas so much. Okay, so anyway... so they go hiking in the woods. They're totally afraid of bears. And it's like this, and like the dialogue is so bad, you guys. It's like, oh my God, do you think there's a bear? There's probably a bear somewhere in the woods. Did you cover your poop up? Because if you don't, the bear will get us. Okay, I have to go into the woods now to go to the bathroom. Can I have the shovel? I mean, it's so bad, you guys. It's just so dumb. And of course, you know it's going to be these Appalachian guys that are going to come out, you know, it's very that Wrong Turn kind of movie, that these Appalachian Deliverance kind of guys come and they like are coming after these girls and trying to hunt them down, and it's very much that. It's so bad, you guys. I gave it 1 star. I mean, I wrote in my review, I said, I gave this, this is so bad, I almost DNF'd it several times. I'm sorry to ruin it for you, but I'm not going to recommend the book anyway, so if you want to read it, but I'm going to tell you. Explain to me how somebody whose foot has been banged so hard that it's literally hanging limp off the end of their leg can run through the Appalachian Mountains to get out of the woods, and then on top of that, drive them to safety. With what, 1 foot? Okay, girl. Whatever, Stephanie. Maybe Stephanie Perkins has never driven a car before, but that's a little difficult to do. So, I mean, and she doesn't even say anything about how difficult it is. You know, I'm just like, girl, this, and I love Stephanie Perkins. I love her anthologies. I love some of her other stuff. I just am like, this book is so bad. This is like one of the worst books I've ever read. I felt stupid reading it. I was embarrassed. I was like driving down the street late at night listening to it, and I thought, oh my Lord, I hope nobody sees me listening to this book. My God, they'll think there's something wrong with me. Anyway, so there was that book. I just got a southern twang all of a sudden talking about these Appalachian people, but I kind of back in the day wished I was lived in the Appalachian Mountains, because I love Dolly Parton and I love that movie Smoky Mountain Christmas. That's Appalachia, you know. And I wanted to live in that cabin that she goes and stays in, you know, the one where her friend Mary Jo or whatever, she sets up the cabin so nice for her, and she goes in there. She thinks she does, but it's kids living in the cabin. And she goes in there. Chris Christopherson plays this real scary guy. But anyway, she goes in there and she says, oh, Mary Lou. She goes, she's like on the stove. There's like this pot, you know, simmering on the stove. She goes, oh, Mary Lou, squirrel stew. You think of everything. I love that movie so much. And after that, I made my mom and my ex, we had to go stay in Gatlinburg, Tennessee every Christmas after that. And we'd stay in a cabin in the woods because I thought I was Dolly Parton. I still do sometimes. Beg your pardon. My best friend, Tawny Jean, she was going as Dolly Parton for Halloween. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, that was that book. And then, what was the next book that I read? The Shadows, The Whisper Man. Oh, Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. You know, I had a lot of people say that they didn't think this book was scary. I didn't really necessarily think this book was scary either. It's about a girl that's supposedly possessed, but you really never know, honestly, if she's possessed or if it is mental health. What I will say about this book is, Paul Tremblay develops characters and storylines like nobody's business. And I read Cabin at the End of the World a couple years ago for Spookathon. I wish Books and Lala still did, she still did. Did y'all see that Books and Lala, Kayla did that video where she was drunk and high going book shopping? Girl, have you lost your ever-loving mind? What is wrong with you? I watched it too though and I loved it, and she did get high. She got mad, she was high as a kite, and she was drunk, and it went back and forth, and she's like, I only drink like twice a year. And I'm like, well then that should have been a clue to you not to be drinking and then going book shopping, okay? But anyway, if you guys haven't seen that video, it's actually a cute video. I thought it was funny that she said she took inspiration from other influencers and she threw up Chris Clemens' picture on there. I was like, okay. Anyway, well, Chris Clemens wouldn't just go, this is more like a drama video now. Chris Clemens wouldn't just go book shopping high. He's like forever high, I think. But anyway, so then I read, yeah, okay, Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. This is another book that was recommended to me on a list, well, not recommended to me, but it was on a list of like scariest books ever. And I had read Cabin at the End of the World a couple years ago for Spookathon, and I really loved it, and it was terrifying, and it was kind of like, not really so much terrifying as like scary, as like anxious, nail-biting, edge of your seat, kind of you don't know what's going to go on. And that was very similar with this one as well. This is a story about, it's told from the point of view of this 8-year-old sister after she's grown up, and she's telling the story to an author who is writing a book about her family. And the story is that her sister, when she was, I think, 15, what is that noise? That's my radio. 13 or, no, she's 15, I think. 13 maybe. I think she's, I don't know, it doesn't matter. She becomes possessed, supposedly. And so, they get this priest to do this exorcism and stuff. I don't want to tell you much about it because I would recommend this book. I think it's a good book. But the thing is that there's this reality TV show that comes in and films the whole thing. So it's really about this reality TV show. And it's really about the little sister telling everything in retrospect of what happened, like what really happened and what they think happened. And what you find out at the end of this book, you guys, is like, I was not prepared for the end of this book. I could have been going this whole way. Look at this lighting, perfection. I was not prepared for the end of this book at all, like at all. This book was so, the technical skills of Paul Tremblay are unbelievable, first of all. Also, I have to say, I had just finished reading that Stephen Graham Jones book. I didn't like it. I might try his other book that he wrote before, but I didn't love, he's written a couple books, but I didn't love My Heart is a Chainsaw. I just thought the ending, I don't know, it's kind of messed with my head because it's been a book that's like sat in my head and I've like thought a lot about it since it ended because I felt cheated at the end of the book, but now I'm kind of like, do you feel cheated or was it genius that he did? Did you ever feel like that when you're reading a book? Like, I've really been thinking a lot about this. Like, it's really bothered me, so obviously the book did something. But I loved the book for so long. It was so well done, and I love the character of Jade, that then at the end, I mean, it's really about this girl that, like, is obsessed with horror movies and then is living inside of one, really. So if you like horror movies, you'll like it. The Mary Shelley Club I finished too. Did I talk about that on there? Oh, fantastic. Loved the Mary Shelley Club. That was my other book for Peter's Book Club for the month. It was really well done. See, that was a great young adult horror novel, okay? Stephanie Perkins, Woods Are Always Watching, crap. I would recommend Mary Shelley Club highly by Goldy Moldavsky. It was really well done. Really, really, really good. Characters are interesting. Storyline, you have no idea what's happening next. Like a good horror movie, she kills off main characters. I was blown away by the book. I thought it was really good. Okay, so, but what was funny was in the Paul Tremblay book, she references, like the woman at one point asks her something about having a tutor, and she says, yeah, all I remember about him is his name was Stephen Graham Jones, and I just used to say that all the time, Stephen Graham Jones, Stephen Graham Jones, Stephen Graham Jones. And I'm like, just having just read the Stephen Graham Jones book, I was like, this is so funny. Paul Tremblay and Stephen Graham Jones must be friends. So I Googled them, and they do know each other, and they've done like podcast interviews. They had a book that both of their books were released at the same time. So they know each other, which I kind of love that Paul Tremblay put that in the book. I thought it was kind of like a cute homage, you know, to their friendship. So anyway, but I'll tell you, the end of that Head Full of Ghosts will blow your mind away. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, I will say, if I had to pick between Head Full of Ghosts and Cabin at the End of the World, I would highly recommend Cabin at the End of the World over Head Full of Ghosts, but they're so completely different. It's kind of like Grady Hendrix. Like, I still love Grady Hendrix more than any of them as a horror novelist, but he and Paul Tremblay are very closely tied to me as fantastic horror novelists of our time. And I have to say, like, Stephen Graham Jones, like, his writing was so well done. I don't know. You might ask me in a month, and I might say, you know what, I've looked back on that book, and I think it's a 5-star now, because I just keep on thinking about that book over and over and over. I just can't stop thinking about it. So anyway, if you've read it and you know what I mean, in the comment section below, will you let me know what you think? Like, did you feel cheated? Did you think the ending was fair? The thing is this, okay? When you're reading a book like that, there's always this ending that makes sense. And the ending didn't make sense, but I think that was the purpose of the ending. Like, that's what's driving me crazy. He's too fantastic of a writer. His technical skills are too unbelievable. His story, is this a Bentley next to me? Look at that car. My God, that's gorgeous. I don't think I mean, we see Bentleys in Indianapolis, but that's like a Bentley sports car. That's really pretty. But anyway, look at me. I'm no car person. But like, his technical skills are so fantastic. His character development was unbelievable. I love the main character, Jade. I love some of the other characters in the book, like the detective, the sheriff I liked the character of the sheriff. I liked the story, but then the way that it just developed I was even excited about the end. You know, even though I will say it is the slowest burn in the entire world, that My Heart is a Chainsaw. I mean, it is such a slow burn. It took forever to get to what was really going on in the story. That would be another major criticism, I guess. But I just didn't feel like that book was fully realized. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you're reading. I was going to read Salem's Lot this month. I haven't completely ruled it out, but I spent probably 40 minutes yesterday on Audible. I'm not even lying. Looking through, like, I looked at the Alex North books because I was like, I want to read a book just like The Shadows. And so I was looking through all these books and like that were recommended for people that liked that book. And they're just, there were like 3 that I wanted to read. There was one called Caged. If anybody has read that book, let me know if it's any good. That looked kind of good. But I don't know. I want to read like an edge-of-your-seat thriller that you can't like put down. It's so good. That's what I want to read at the end of this week going into Cozy Mystery Season. Cozy Mystery Season. When you have cozy hot tea or hot chocolate or coffee or whatever. Okay, this has gone so long, so I'm going to get off here now. Let me know what you think about all those books in the comment section below. Let me know what you're reading. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. My singing outro. Goodbye!